Welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D Collective. To those who are new, we are a collective of mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people, at least here at IHP, who love to be our true selves, and that's why we love to put mindfulness into practice as well as our mindset skills, and our mindset is everything. So, love is a permanent state for us because when being yourself in the infinite higher human consciousness potential experience, you know how to create not only more of emotional awareness, but also you enhance and create further emotional resiliency. So, we talked about that one a little bit. And in our short, when being yourself, emotions are experienced with enthusiasm and as an opportunity. You can check it out. Emotions, we know they're not contagious. It is our nervous system because we'll pick up on each other. And it is only when people are not mastered in being their true, authentic self that they will have a situation called not knowing how to self-regulate in their own ventral vagal state. Okay, so self-regulation is easy for this person right here. I'm also attachment trauma informed. And as Pat Ogden points out, a securely attached, non-traumatized person self-regulates independently of others. That's why we're functional child adults. And I'm going to read to you what I got to share. I'm a mystic, so remember, channeled guidance, food for thought, and we are on the cusp. No, we're always having ascension energy. So there's been a couple of themes and more. We're going to look at what we do here and then maybe have some other episodes. But I do know I left you kind of hanging for some of y'all. We'll look at this one too. If it's not in this episode, it'll be in the next. And we have some other content that I'm going to talk to you about for the themes again at hand. So emotions aren't contagious. It's your nervous system, and only when not mastered in being yourself. When you can be yourself, you build and enhance emotional awareness and resiliency with enthusiasm because you see the opportunity you are being given. Love is a permanent state thanks to choosing to anchor in ventral energy through engaging the VVS, that's the ventral vagal state, thanks to mindfulness practices with mindsight skills, so sifting through sensations, images, thoughts, feelings, and an inner growth mindset. It's all about mindset because the mind, as Lisa points out, is translating what comes up from the body. So the second year of life, the words come into the picture because the left mode, and the right mode instead is online from the very beginning of your 0 months of life. And in the womb, we also have implicit memory building. So remember that science explains no demons out there, but those who don't want to believe in it, that's where our 3D, 4D collective brothers and sisters are going to be. Our 5D collective of mystic, spiritual, and mindful people enjoy the infinite higher human conscious potential experience because of choosing well-being, intelligence, and to live life as our authentic self. So well-being is because of my capacity to have an integrated brain, and that's why I'm also intelligence and not just intellect and half a brain. And I'm not a pause self, so I know how to understand and communicate as a self-agent. And we will talk about those things too. So we are functional or child adults. We don't need Terry Real to become a functional adult. We don't need Patrick Tan. These are two awesome therapists to become an inner adult. No, we're functional child adults. In fact, we know forgiveness. I know I do. And as you all know, those who are regular listeners and viewers, I'm a co-author of an amazing book that is coming out on June 28th. The Ways to God. My chapter is called God is Discerning Equanimous Love, and I talk to you about my upbringing with Christian Catholicism. Really awesome for me, and those of us who are of faith still come together under the spirituality umbrella, and we understand if our brothers and sisters don't like us. And that's what you're going to get to hear about in the chapter and more. And there's an interview that I have one-to-one with Amira. Then there's group discussion where I'm in one of them, but there's another two. So you can meet the other amazing 8 spiritual authors of the book and more. You can find information for pre-ordering in the YouTube community page or on Instagram. We are therefore the 5D collective, these functional inner child adults who say yes to integration and restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, and regulating resiliency lifestyle ideas and mindfulness practices with also those mindset and mindset skills. So we are not the ones saying, I don't want to get integrated, I'm afraid. And we're also not the ones who say, I don't want resiliency, it means I have to put up with emotions. Some people, they feel heavy with emotions. That's why they're not going to be here. I do self-help and personal development with spiritual growth and or without. If you're just mindfully growing, that's the difference, okay? So IHP is to inspire human potential. We're not here to heal the trauma. We have taken and we take healing trauma seriously And I bring to you new stories so that you can bring forth your humanity, and we make fun of our brothers and sisters who don't believe that they need healing. Because it's not Lucifer. They actively are in a fear frequency from their unfortunate childhood, and they just keep projecting shit all over the place. So again, Cuscos are bountiful. We are not going to be like, oh, let me point you out, but we're going to be able to have fun here. And our 5D collective, we do love, in fact, love navigating the mental, emotional, physical planes. That's why we have a good time with the ascension energies, aka mental, emotional, physical planes, aka body, empowered feminine, mind, empowered masculine, brain, integrated, so my masculine, my feminine, okay, my heart is open, thank you Holy Spirit, Jesus and God, and more, and myself is one. I own the sense of self, and there's a verb, and that's why consistently changing, facing change for a self-agent is easy, because again, emotional awareness, emotional resiliency, restorative embodiment resiliency, mindfulness, I'm focusing attention in the maximum uncertainty of awareness. I'm not destabilized with my human secondary consciousness, and I'm using kind intention because Jesus told me to forgive. Stephen Porges confirmed they don't know Maria, so red and yellow don't know shit. And Dr. Daniel Fox confirms they don't know they have mustard on their chin, and that's whether it's narcissism, borderline, or anything, sociopathy, psychopathy that does not go heal, and those with pause self who don't heal with Patrick Tian, so childhood trauma on a wheel. Okay, we don't need to do anything for those who are in their low frequency. They will keep dating beneath themselves. They will keep doing the things that we've seen them been doing. And luckily for us, for physical safety, we have the laws. So our alignment with the body, mind, brain, heart, self is harmoniously in the state of love. That's why it's consistently here, because this state of love comes from using our social engagement system. My faith in humanity isn't broken. My trust in humanity isn't broken. My integrated brain allows me to face change as a self-agent easily. And when I'm presented a challenge, I, like anybody else who's part of our 5D again collective, will enjoy the challenge because we see it as the opportunity to continue building and enhancing again our mental, emotional awareness and resiliency skills, because you're going to like, oh look, my affect just came up. So that's happened to me a couple times, and that's because you're not reactive at all. So you're having a good time, again, being your grown-up higher self is what the therapists call it. You have no exiles or protectors that need hugging or therapy. We love leading life in our flow state. That's the going with the flow with an open heart from within you as you deal with unknowns, uncertainties, unwanteds, and unexpecteds. Those are the main modules for free on the Inner Growth Mindset Program courses. Yes, and they're on the inspiringhumanpotential.com website. So we love leading life in our flow state and anchored in our ventral energy. Living the infinite higher human conscious potential, invigorating experience is invigorating, as is expanding consciousness. I repeated the word. I probably wanted to change it up to energize, but they're both equally invigorating. So we'll leave that. And here's where perfection, it doesn't exist. So we leave alone those which are small errors without really making it into a big deal. The ones who do, again, we don't, let the 3-year-old talk. Life and relationships never get old for those of us who are in our 5D frequency, or boring or stagnating, as we don't end our expanding consciousness brain. We live, we love, we laugh, we learn, and we don't cast stones or stay in limited consciousness mindsets that are ancient news, like gender stereotypes, like people who don't know that polyamory we do love, and that we have different vessels that we can move our relationships in, like polyfidelity, and that we don't do that. You're not poly enough, okay? FYI, I'm part of the polyamory community as a securely attached woman. I can tell you, we don't do what I've heard others do, and we don't make fun in a way of, there are things I don't like, but I wouldn't do it that way. I mean, if I meet the person who wants to continue re-traumatizing themselves with kinky stuff, I'm just gonna say nothing. My mother taught me to be polite. If you can't say something nice, say nothing. So I'm going to accept, respect all differences, not make a big deal. And I'm not going to say you all need to become. That's actually not what happens. I mean, unless you're a teenager who's still following peer pressure, which would be social people who do social things on purpose. No, they want pats on the back, you see. So past self people, that's what they do. They get into groups, and then they want their trauma charge. Oh, they lead with it. So with their Braveheart sticks, they go around yelling at each other. And so again, we don't do that here. Here we do where we will be able to notice again that affect and notice our 14-month-old and not be like, oh my God, what the? So no sensitive egos in that sense. I was sensitive as a kid. I say I'm not sensitive now. Of course, I'm still sensitive in the sense of I have emotions, but my hurt feelings won't be hurt. And that's because I was rejected already at 4. So I don't get hurt in the way of, oh my God. I can get frustrated. Yes, I can get angry. I can get sad. I can get mad. I can get disgusted. Okay. So again, we talk, thank you, Terriel, like functional adults, but we also have the inner child. So we have a fun time because nobody feels that they're being bullied or obligated or suppressed or impressed, or the teenagers out there still feel that somebody is holding them down. That's not how we feel. We feel that we are good. Again, grounded in reality, people. Thank you, Sam Harris. We know that our cherishable beliefs are falsifiable. We are integrated brains. We know our brain won't fall out of our asshole. Okay. And so with that, we live, we love, we laugh, we learn, and we don't cast stones. Again, because God also taught me not to. And we do not stay in limited mindsets ourselves, but we do understand that some might not welcome us because, again, the ancient news people definitely think Lucifer's still alive, definitely think promiscuity has everything to do with polyamory and the sex revolution and and they don't really realize that it's not any of those things. It's that, as Stephen Porges points out to the therapist, he really wishes they would know it's not the context. It's a physiological state. And as Pat Ogden points out, the non-metabolized stuff keeps coming up so they can, heal it. And as Terriel points out, yes, they marry their unfinished business or they continue playing it out on a wheel. And as Bezel van der Kolk points out, you can heal. Could take you 20 years. Dr. Daniel Fox points it out too, but you still can heal. So anyone who wants to get their 2 hands, 2 feet to a therapist will be able to, at some point, shape, or form, feel the way we do about life, which is that we love, we live, we laugh, we learn, and we don't cast stones because we don't have a trauma charge. So we have forgiveness because we know how, if I get upset, I'm going to go to my healthy self-worth, empowered, feminines empowered, masculines, mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving people, and we're going to be our true selves, be you, mindful and flawed with integrity. So we understand that there's differences, and that's okay. Social culture continues to evolve and change, so that's what we're doing right now. The book that is really great for anybody who likes sociology, it's called something along the lines of social cultural change. So what other people say about you doesn't matter, but you should not be ashamed of what you have done, integrity. And we want to find a better word. You can, if you want, not be ashamed. Should activates the sympathetic, that's why. And even though I'm sure that for those of us who are self-aware, kind of regulating, it doesn't, because we'll be like, oh, hey, sympathetic, you don't need to get activated. What I'm trying to say is that's why the data helps. It helps you to notice. And on that, we're going to close it out, and I'll do another episode for this one. That way, those of you who like smaller pieces of content can consume this and then be back if you're curious for more.